I I'm one of those kids that got saved because all my friends were getting saved. Like I was like 9 or 10 at like I think I was at kids camp. I was at kids camp and I just remember everybody else was like getting saved and I was like, well, this is the thing to do. So I got saved. But I truly believe in my heart that there's a difference between just getting saved and actually living it. And I got saved to just be like, all right, I'm going to heaven instead of living the life of what it means to be a son and a daughter who's redeemed. And so when I was about, I would say like 14, 15 maybe, I finally got to the place where I was like, okay, I'm actually going to take this seriously. Like, I'm actually going to read my Bible. I'm actually going to spend time with the Father and start to cultivate the relationship. And that's where my life really shifted for me. And one of the big things in my life at that point, well, from the beginning of time, honestly, was basketball. For the longest time, I started playing when I was 5, and when I was about 13, I had made this like decree that I was going to be a professional basketball player. Like that's all I wanted to do. Either I was going to play in the United States in WNBA or I was going to go overseas, and that was going to be my life. I remember I was at youth camp, and this was when I was like 16 years old. I just remember God asking me to go into ministry, and I was not pleased. Like I was not happy because I was like, God, like I've given you my life, but we got a deal. Like I said I would give you my heart if you gave me the desires of my heart. And then I realized that if I want to live a full life, I have to live with his desires, because actually his dreams are way more beautiful than mine. I just didn't realize it at the time. And I remember the day where I laid that down. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and that's the day where my relationship got really real with God, when I surrendered everything, every single idol in my life. And I didn't realize basketball had become an idol until I had surrendered it. And for me, I never looked back. I began to dive into my word. I began to sit around people who were way more mature in their faith as me. Listen to a lot of podcasts, just finding people who could feed me and help me grow spiritually. And I had a lot of people that were just willing to disciple me. And that really molded me into who I am today. And that's how I got into ministry, which is pretty wild. Like that, like my faith and surrender is really what catapulted me into getting saved. So yeah, that's what I would say. I don't think it's not really about, at the end of the day, it's not about it's not about getting saved, it's about being redeemed. And for a lot of people that might sound weird, but here's what I mean. When you get saved, you kind of have a choice to step into the redemption of what being saved means. And are you going to actually live the fullness of his word anymore and follow it? Or are you going to get saved and just that you're saved?